So, hello everyone, this is Nidhi. Today, we'll study chapter number 5 of class 6 Measurement of Length and Motion. A girl named Deepa. What is name? Deepa. Deepa, a curious 11-year-old girl who lives in a town in the state of Haryana. The new school year has started. Deepa needs a new uniform since she has grown taller. Her mother takes her to a cloth shop. She asks for a 2-meter cloth piece. The shopkeeper measures the cloth using a metal measuring rod. Which rod? Metal measuring rod. Then the tailor takes her measurements using a flexible measuring tape. Her mother instructs, okay, what she told to the tailor. She told to increase the length of her uniform by 4 ungul. 4 ungul means 4 fingers width. Okay. Now, Deepa, she's a curious girl. She thinks are the tape and rod similar to the scale that the elder sister of Earth has in her geometry box. What did mother mean by char angle? Deepa shares her experience with her school friends Anish, Hardeep, Padma, Tasneem, and this leads to a discussion amongst them. Now they discuss how do we measure. Okay, first boy Hardeep says, I have seen my grandmother measuring cloth by the length of her arm. Now he said, I have seen my grandmother. What he see? He had seen her grandmother cloth by length of her arm. Okay, this type the length of her arm. Okay, now Padma says, have you ever seen how a farmer measures length to divide his fields into beds? Okay, how he divides his field, matlab, how he divides and separates the fields. He walks and counts the number of his strides. Strides mean one long foot step. Okay, for the right leg and the left leg. Okay, both one. Says Padma. Oh, not just the length of the strides, not just the length of the 1 foot step. Sometimes they also use the length of their feet to measure. Who said? This is said by Anish. Okay, another boy. Okay, means look. The strides means right leg and left leg both. Okay, this includes one step. And now the foot. They are not like the. Now he put only the right leg. After that also he put another right leg. That's how he measure. Because the process is slower, but the process is more accurate. Okay. Now the Deepa, who the curious girl, says excitedly like this. Measuring length using body parts must be so much fun. Let us also measure something using a body part. Now, they think the group, what should we measure? Okay, like they say, let us measure the length of the table in our classroom, says Tasneem. Now, Padma adds, and which body part should we use to measure it? Okay. Now Deepa says, let us use our hand span. What use? The hand span. The we have seen our mother or grandmother do. Okay. I will show how to use it because I have seen my mother using it. She calls it ballast. Okay. What it calls? Ballast. Now Hardeep adds, okay, let us note down our measurements. Okay, now they make a table. They put the names in front of them, and now their number. Look, write down the number of handspans. Like Anish, slightly more than 13. Padma, 13. Tasneem, slightly less than 13. Deepa, between 13 and 14, Hardeep 14. So they thinks, oh, the number of handspan is different for all of us. Okay, so what can we say about the length of the table? But why should the number be different? Hardeep asks thoughtfully. Okay, like Hardeep asks, why should the number should be different? Tasneem says, I can guess. Our handspans are of different sizes. Now, Anish gives an idea. Let us check this. So, all five of them put their handspans along each other and like this and arrive at the conclusion that the length of their handspans are different. Okay. Now, Deepa says thoughtfully, no wonder people use scales and measuring tapes. Deepa and her friends compare the length of the table with the length of their handspans. The length of the table is expressed in terms of their handspans. Here, the handspan used for measurement is an example of a unit, and the length is expressed in two parts, a number and a unit. Okay, now for example, if the length of the table is found to be 13 handspan, 13 handpan, this is one. We can take anything like that. Mm, Like this is the box. This is whole one length. If we'll take another something, this is the shield. Okay, if you measure this like one shield, one hand span, two hand span, and two and a half, like this, they measure the length of the table is found to be 13 handspan. Okay, then 13 is the number and handspan is the unit selected for the measurement. Okay, however, handspan and other similar units such as length of hand, foot, fist, or fingers differ from person to person. Thus, there is a need for such a unit for which measurement of the same length made by different people do not differ. Okay, now something is written. India has a rich history of measurement system dating back to ancient times, means old times. Angul, finger width, multiples of angul, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, वैसे like that. Dhanush and Yojna are some of the units mentioned in ancient Indian literature and used in measuring artifacts, architecture, and town planning. The angul is still used by traditional craftspeople like carpenters and tailors. Several objects with ruled markings, which could be scales, have been excavated from sites of the Harappan civilization. Okay. Mhm. Okay. We'll conclude this part here. The next part, the standard unit, will cover in the next video. Okay. Thank you.